We're joined this morning by the Red Wing head coach, Todd McLellan. Todd, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How's everybody today?
We're doing well. Let's start with that bizarre goal last night to get you guys a point. Had you seen anything like that?
I've seen a lot in my years, but never off a camera hole in the glass. So we'll take it any way we can.
Also last night, and we've been talking about it, it's the moment for Patrick Kane. He's had a couple of those, the most accomplished U.S.-born hockey player. What's it like seeing these moments as they happen, celebrating them, and what's it like coaching him?
Well, we are so lucky to be around Patrick Kane. It was an incredible accomplishment last night, but he's, like you said, he's been through so many of them, and over the last year and a half that I've been here anyhow, but we've enjoyed a lot of it. Having him in the locker room is like having an extra coach. He sees the game so well. He shares his thoughts and ideas properly with his teammates. And then when he puts the equipment on, he's special. They call him Showtime for a reason.
We have the stat. You guys haven't gone back-to-back games without picking up a point since November. Why or where is this team different than last season?
Well, I think we're a better hockey club, just flat out. Our roster's a little bit better than it was last year. We're getting some better goaltending than we had last year. But overall, starting in training camp, we talked about getting physically and mentally stronger, and we've really pounded that day after day into the players. And I think they're starting to believe in it, especially between the years. I think that we stick with things a little bit longer, a little more resilient, believe we have a chance right to the bitter end, as we did last night. And I give the players credit for that. They've responded well.
Gibson has been really good between the pipes. How important has his play been? And as you guys approach this Olympic break, how do you keep him playing at such a high level with a layoff coming up?
Well, one, he's essential. I think if we really had to look at one spot for this point run, if you want to call it that, it would start with him in goal. He's played so well the last 2 months. He gives us so much confidence. We know that we can err at times, and he's there to bail us out. So he's been outstanding. I couldn't ask for anything more from a goaltender. And as far as keeping him going, I think the important thing for him, he has had some injuries in the past, is to get some rest coming up. So we'll make some goaltender decisions the next 3 nights. Obviously, trying to win every game. He gives us likely the best chance. But once the break comes, we want him to relax, enjoy his family. We have enough practice time that both goaltenders will get their games back.
Todd, when Stevie made that trade, there was the thought, hey, this guy gets a change of scenery. But it's not just as simple as that. Why do you think he's been able to reinvent himself in a Red Wing uniform?
Well, when he arrived, it was a tough transformation for him. He's a goaltender that spent 12 or 13 years in Anaheim. That was his team. He was a big factor there. He comes to Detroit and takes a little while to get going, but once he did, he settled in. And I just think that his calmness and his confidence has been perhaps the biggest factor. He knows what he needs to do. He's not distracted by anything. He gets in there, he gets his job done, and it's remarkable how it rubs off on everybody else. So just his presence in the net alone has been a big factor.
Huge. I mean, it used to be a big rivalry. The rivalry itself isn't what it used to be, but a couple of big games against the Avs. What do you need to see from your guys against the Avs in these next 2 matchups?
Well, we're going to have to be at our best. Anybody's B game isn't going to be good enough against this group of players. They've been easily the best team in the National Hockey League since the beginning of the year. Yes, they're on a bit of a dry spell right now, but that happens to every team. And in fact, I'd rather have them at the top of their game. There'll be a growly group coming in here tomorrow, and they're going to want to change their game before the Olympic break. So our task in front of us is a tough one, but I think we can skate with them. We're going to get tested in that area. We're going to need the goaltending, and our special teams are going to have to be a little bit better than they have been over the last couple nights.
I know this is one that season ticket holders circle, right? The Avs only come to town once a year. There will be some talk and some presentation about the rivalries in the past. For you as a hockey fan, what was it like watching the rivalry from afar, and what are some of your favorite moments from those showdowns?
Well, both teams were outstanding. They were at the top of their game. So anytime they met, it usually was was a hyped up game or a hyped up series of games, and then obviously they meet in the playoffs. The emotional toll that it took on both teams, whether it was the scores, the overtime games, and obviously the fights and the scraps that went on. It was real good hockey back then, and there's no reason it can't be that again. Both teams are they're on their upward trend. They're pushing, and we think our fans will be there for us tomorrow. As you mentioned, it's an exciting night for them as well.
There's only 5 games before we get to March, and it's weird because we're still in January, but there's a lot of fans that are really cautious because of history, even before you got here, of being in position as you enter March, and then there's been this drop-off, and you ultimately have missed the postseason. What could you tell fans that's different about this season?
Well, we're definitely aware of what's gone on in the past. We experienced that last year a little bit, our short time here last year. But that's why we started training camp the way we did. That mental fortitude, that resilience that we wanted to build up and talk about. It started day one at training camp before we even put the equipment on, and we've tried to push the players. We tried to make them comfortably uncomfortable. In any situation we can, just for that. And there's no guarantee that that's going to work for us this year. But we've tried to push as much as we can. And to this point, they've indicated to us or shown us as a coaching staff that they're prepared to deal with it.
Probably more of a question for Yzerman, but your input. We see buzz from insiders. Have you guys done enough to be buyers at the trade deadline in your mind, knowing that it's going to be here quicker than the calendar indicates because of the layoff?
Well, we have done enough to be buyers, but it's never that easy. It's simple to sit back at home and say, well, they got to go get this guy, that guy, and that guy. The store has to be open. The shopkeeper has to be willing, and he has to have some reasonable prices, or nobody's purchasing anything. It's no different than any human being going to the mall or to a car store. You're not going to overpay 3 times the amount of what that car or item might be. So I know Steve's going to do everything he can to look at the market, and he's listening right now. We like the chemistry that we have with our team right now, and that always has to be considered. But not just the trade deadline. He's always looking to improve the team any way that he can.
We talked about this at the beginning of the season in regards to so many young players. And we've already talked about, what it's like to have Kane on the team, DeBrincat, obviously a veteran, Dylan Larkin. But with so many young players, where are those young players at in their development? Have you seen them get better throughout the course of this season to this point?
Oh, I have seen them get better. It's always hard to evaluate and judge as you're moving along during the season, especially this one when the games are coming so fast. But they have got better. If you look back at the beginning of the year, the league has improved immensely. It usually does, throughout the season. The pace gets ramped up. The emotions start getting a little higher, and our young players have done a real good job. Now, that being said, it's tough for some of them right now. This is a lot of hockey. I think of Sandin Pelikka. This is more games than he's ever played in a regular season, and we're only in January. So the task that they have in front of them is one to finish off this little stretch and be as good as they can, and also get some rest later on. Their bodies are still growing. Emotionally they're away and in the NHL for the first time. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but the break will do them wonders as well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about Axel Sandin Pelikka because surface level you see a -17, and I know you guys have tinkered with his minutes. His ice time can fluctuate, and deployments, O-zone, D-zone. How do you get the most out of him, and how would you just generally evaluate the season that he's had specifically?
Well, first of all, for me, he was a surprise to make the team. We thought that he would have to play a little bit more in the minors and get seasoned, but he had a tremendous preseason. He started the year with us, and he's never given anything back. Now, his play will fluctuate throughout the season. He's a smaller defenseman that has to learn how to defend a little bit better despite his size, and he can do that with his brain, with positioning, and with his feet. And we're working on him with that day in and day out. You never get the finished product in day one, and we've got to give him a little breathing room so that he can continue to evolve and develop. But at the other end of the rink, he's got some good vision. He's been involved in a lot of offense for our team this year, and he's not the finished product, so we're going to keep training him.
Talking to Red Wing head coach Todd McLellan, Marco Casper, not a rookie, a guy that I'm sure you think you can get more out of down the stretch here. Is a guy like him part of the key to getting you guys a better 5-on-5 hockey team? How do you unlock Marco Casper and therefore, become a better 5-on-5 hockey team?
Well, he's definitely an important part. 5-on-5, penalty kill, power play, whatever time he earns, he's really important. We saw that last year down the stretch, and certainly didn't have the start to the season that he wanted. Initially, it was all about his evaluation away from the rink was about stats, goals, assists, points. We're beyond that now. We'd love for him to score. We'd like for him to be on the score sheet, but his play overall in the last 4 or 5 weeks has been excellent. We've been really happy with what he's been doing. Despite getting on the score sheet day in and day out, but the points are starting to come, and he's a real good complement right now to Larkin and Raymond.
The last game that you guys will play will be February 4th. You'll come back February 26th. No home games in the month of February, but what's the break look like? How do you get those guys that need the rest, and how do you get the guys the work that they need to be the team you need to be throughout the course of the rest of the season?
Well, it's a real good observation. We're going to have about 20 players that are going to be well rested, and we're going to put them through a mini training camp when we reconvene. And I think we can manage that part easily. Every team in the league will be doing that. It's going to be reintegrating the Olympians, the three of them that are going. We're going to have to figure out where their gas tanks are, how emotionally spent they are, how beat up they are when they get back, and figure out how we bring them back into the mix. They're obviously going to need some rest, but we obviously need some points. So the balance is going to have to be there, and we've got a real good sports science department with our hockey club. They'll help the coaching staff make decisions on when they should skate or when they shouldn't skate, and expectations of those three when they return don't diminish one bit. No one's let off the hook just because they went to the Olympics, and we'll make that clear to all three of them.
Were you surprised DeBrincat didn't make Team USA?
I am. I think he's an outstanding player. But when you sit back and you think about some of the other players that didn't make it and the task that Bill Guerin and his staff had, it wasn't easy. I think that Team Canada and Team USA could basically send two teams there and they could compete against each other and probably have pretty good results. So, it's unfortunate for Cat. He's very deserving, but I also understand it from a management standpoint.
And last thing, what are your plans for the time off? What do you do with all that time away?
Well, we're no different than the players. Our tanks are running a little bit low right now too, so we've got to make sure that we have enough energy to finish this week and lead the group. And then when that last game's over, we'll turn the computers off. We spend a lot of time on laptops looking at the game and that type of stuff, and we're going to just relax for a few days. I know that some of the staff's getting away, maybe to warmer climates for a short period. And then we got a plan. Like I said, we're going to have a mini training camp. There's a lot of prep that needs to go into that. And then it's back at it for another sprint to the end of the season.
He's Red Wing head coach Todd McLellan. Get some toes in the sand, and let's get this playoff push underway. We'll talk to you again down the stretch, all right?
Thank you.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's 97.1.